Good afternoon to everyone. So we are going to begin with our teaching, and I will read the text first. So Campbell's reading just now finished halfway down the page number 8 in the booklets. So this morning we discussed how when we encounter sufferings of all different kinds, if we think, oh, I don't want this suffering, it's harming me, I wish it away, then the suffering will only increase and grow stronger. So regardless of what kind of suffering it is that we encounter, or what kind of harm it is we encounter, I should just say that I've been translating this word as harm all this morning, but it can include things like disturbances and disruptions and things like this too. In any case, if when these things happen, we think to ourselves, it's so unfair, why is this happening to others, why am I the only one it's happening to, why is it happening? If we think in this way, then the suffering only becomes stronger. If when harm strikes or arises, we think about it over and over again, this has no benefit or purpose whatsoever. There's no purpose or use whatsoever in thinking about the suffering over and over again. If the harm or problem that we are facing is one that we are able to change, then we should go about doing so, in which case there's not much point in thinking over and over about it and causing ourselves suffering. So rather than thinking over and over about the suffering that this harm is causing us, or the way in which we are being harmed, it would be better to find a way or a method of actually going about solving it. This would be preferable rather than causing us ourselves a lot of difficulty at the level of our minds, causing ourselves worries, etc. This has no use whatsoever. These days, all over the world, depression is a very serious illness. And in America, it's a very great problem. And this is how it develops. It begins with a very small kind of issue.
Teni tonda chonchon te la teni sosorang ka samlo mambo tang ne teni yar kale teni tong ko thola natun chimbo teni mai na soso sem ga nala pe natun chimbo rindo yores.
It starts off with something that is actually quite small or insignificant, but through a person constantly thinking and dwelling on it, then even though in actual fact it's not a big issue or problem, it takes on increasingly large proportions.
Teni tongser ka nan rabo yena tangbo ne nga cho zabza mapshi na teni sem ka nala teni tongser ka nat te yargi te zan ro tsari jini nga cho chonjum shi gona chonjum shi thap ko mandu.
So regardless of whether it's in the case of depression or just more generally, it's very important that we exercise care at the beginning, because after this way of thinking develops or takes hold, then it's very difficult to control.
Tendri re tendra was nga so zambolanga na la tarta teni simkham go teni nat pe drama pe mangbu yung those.
And just like this, all over the world, many mental illnesses are becoming prolific.
Teni ti simthok ko teni simkham go nat so teni nga so pamjur da so yargi song sarwa go teni yarkap te so na la tarong teni jamba le kyang sab chimbo ren those.
And in particular, in countries with developed economies, these kinds of mental illnesses are becoming very serious indeed.
Tani nga so pamjur tini mepi kapsana tini soso tini tan suwa ga thola tini kangri yone tini ti thola kable mambo jaw tini simter mambo shine tini dungar mambo yong yores.
Prior to having a robust economic foundation, our suffering or our difficulties primarily exist at the level of our livelihoods, and in order to address them, we work really hard, we exert a lot of energy, we expend a lot of worry.
Tani pamjur yargi tini song sarvi kapsana yang pamjur rang la tini yang simter ta tini dungar mambo zo yong gondos.
After we have materially developed, however, then our material development becomes the cause of a lot of suffering and worry.
Teni kyarancho America teni lobda chimo teni girgan teni chik teni tep the district mo teni so district thola tep chik triores te kyarancho chiwe kires.
There's a professor from an American university who wrote a book about happiness in life, or a happy life. You might know it.
Teni tepti mangla deki ki lorji zendo jagzena shinfu de lishi.
The name of this book is The History of Happiness.
Te drinking ka teni girgandela mathma hongena teni zendo.
The author of this book is Mart. Campbell thinks the name is something like Martin Mahoney. He doesn't know if anyone has heard of this book. If anyone has read the book, please raise their hand.
No. Oh, yeah. Teni tepti nala teni lorji teni ngaso mi teni deke kola jimjik mambo cheores.
So this book is based on a lot of research into human happiness.
Terry
McMahon.
Yeah.
Derek McMahon. Yes. Have you read the book?
No. Oh yeah.
Ko di drawi tola Google na lo ko mung teso.
Teni koranga lo chik nangla teni lo chik tiso teni rambo tangne tribares tepta.
So he spent 6 years writing this book.
Teni lo ji thola teni jimji mambo cheores.
And did a lot of historical research.
Teni koranga tep ko teni tepti nala koranga samlo te teni tepti teni yike 데마 지마티나라요 그래서 데마 치 타마티나라요 그래서
Kokasamlo.
그런 건 직dum라고 돼.
And his conclusion appears on the very final page of the book.
야. 근데 그런 거 제나 다디 나초더니 다 나초 고슬라원라고 신이시나 나초 데스킷 제야티 다티 딱버 진짜 나초 어디니 셈거나라 레와 잡야 든지거스레지 자 상상当中是 자거잖아.
That's it. In simple terms, what he concluded was that happiness is something that we constantly imagine in our minds.
무조건 좋아 나라다 요바스 말했어.
But it doesn't exist in reality in our lives.
다들 인디다 가버리지. 무조건 나라면나?
So this is really quite difficult if it doesn't really exist in our lives.
무조건 좋아가 나라 데스키 시당 문이잖아요. 요요하레스.
In actual fact, happiness does exist in our real lives.
이나 가서더니 데스키 때 가서더니 접설 때 약보즈 마시나? 때문에 가버리지.
However, if we don't properly know the way for achieving it or attaining it, then we are in a spot of bother.
대 김선대 가르잖아. 내가 좀 초아가 나라 되니 등을 망보진도지.
In our lives, there is a great deal of suffering.
되니 대소 약보즈 탁주시 시나 되니 가좀 초아가 나라야. 데스키 요나 초그레.
And if we're able to go about solving or addressing this suffering, then it's possible for us to have happiness.
비인나 가서더니 등을 망보요나 대소 파탁주시야가 답시 약보즈 메나 되니 운이 초아가 나라 데스키지야데 베카보레.
However, if we don't properly understand the methods for eliminating happiness, then it's very difficult for us to achieve happiness in our lives.
다든지 인디더니 가서더니 초아가 나라 슝이 등머도서 탐수보 파탁주시야가 답시데 약보 신고근도지.
So it's really important that we properly learn the methods for resolving suffering in our lives.
다든지 인디더니 가서 대 다리 가서 공라 샤송더니 가서 밤줄 메비 값은 더니 밤줄 그 쳇더니 등물만 보고 더니 밤줄 요 차위 지니는 양 밤줄 라더니 등물만 보용 든디 시데나 당가서 뭐치 셔당 합배 통통을 디나라 당 운에 전에 데키제야데 남요래 밤줄 메비 내거브레다 야나 밤줄 요비 내거브레 가레제나 당 운에 제고나 데서 가본다 그래서.
So if, as we said before we have achieved or prior to achieving material wealth, we incur a lot of suffering in striving for it, then after we actually achieve it, our material wealth then brings us a lot of suffering. So when, if this is the case, do we actually enjoy happiness? Our human lives are relatively short. Can we say that we enjoy happiness prior to becoming rich, after becoming rich? It's very difficult to say.
And
this is addressed in the 400 Madhyamika verses, a Buddhist text.
도소이나테 고솔라 페나 밤줄 그 강한다 든지요 말이다 드니 셈토고 등머테 망보요레 송요레스.
In this text, it talks about how those of high status in society may not have worries or suffering that derive from material causes, but they have a lot of mental suffering.
드니 가서 수속고 나라 용큰 그 드니 럼바 마무고 뭐 도소라나 드니 소도 드니 밤줄 그다 소화가 돌아 갑리 용니 And it
talks about how those with a low position in society largely experience suffering which stems from their livelihoods, and they have a lot of physical suffering. So in society, there are people of all different levels and statuses and different levels of suffering too. A lot of our suffering is produced by our minds.
어떤지 인디 되니 당아서 티값스 다리 공라 샤바진데 등물 조스르드 간지레제나 되니 돈닥 총총 된지라 되니 셈고텔라 삼로탄네 되니 칼레 등물도 야르진로 온도스.
And as we looked at before, the way that suffering is produced by taking a small instance of suffering and thinking about it over and over and making it into a large suffering.
되니 ngacho bena sowa ganala ngacho mi jamba gatini sosola tini chu tini changdin mayem ba tini jamnyim mayem ba tini kaja shenandra leka lenandra yangna tini ta ngacho chu tini ga dondak tini ta chapi kapsu tini ngacho susu khemla yong chawi jini ti tondela yang kir samlo tang tini she dena tini kale sem ganala tini sim ganala da korang ngaso sim ganala tini korang nat jawo tini ren ro ndos
Net drabo zena detang ma imbi drabo den drogba.
da nat sim ganat
Ola say. Ruba.
sim ganat chin
So if someone else does something or says something of an unjust or unequal nature, then, or if we encounter some kind of incident like this, then after we come home and we think about what happened over and over, we turn it over and over in our minds, then it becomes in a way like a sickness of our mind.
tini di kapsen nat jawo tini re chawi jini tini ngaso chanjimshi gona chanjimshi matapa tini ren ro ndos.
And after it has reached the level of a sickness, then it's very difficult for us to control it.
Tindi indi ngacho namgini na pena ngacho suso rangla te yondan rawo tindi yona tini muzamba tini yondan mesa rawo tindi yona tini ngacho tini muzamba te lam thongchong rawo ta jinyepchun rawo tindi shenkan ga moyores.
And there are people, perhaps educated people, who, when they encounter people who are less educated, look down on them and disparage them.
Tini ngacho mula tini nyepchu shewa ta mulam thongchong te she nyang ga mendoze gangri lam thongchong she go zina soso rang ga sem ga na la tini nopa shona nopa te lam thongchong she go reze nopa te la nyepchu she go reze tini nopa te lam thongchong she na tini ko kale mar tini jechong ro ndo yar jin ro thap ga mendoze.
But we should by no means belittle or disparage other people. The things that we should belittle and disparage are the harms in our mind, our sense of suffering. And by disparaging or belittling them, they will cease to increase in their proportion.
Ota tindi indi ngacho lagling ga thola kandi che go ndu zina pena ngacho mi jamba ga tini kaja yakbo ma shiwa ndawo ta leka yakbo ma lewa ndawo nda tindi ga top ko yinam dorna jimsun kang yinan ja gantar ngacho sem ga nala marga wa tindi shong ikaps no pa tindi shong ikaps tini ti kaps tini ngacho lamsang ha ko go da ngarang ndela tini yang kir te la samlo tan nan juk mare ti ton te tini ta da ngacho nge yang ni yang de te la samlo tan na te sem ga nala mambo samna tin juk mundu samni tini sem ga nala te masam ba she go ndu.
So how we go about implementing this in practice is if someone says something to us or does something that displeases us, whatever it might be, immediately we need to tell ourselves that we can't think about this. We shouldn't think about this over and over again. It is not okay to continually keep this in our minds and turn it over.
Teni pe jana kandi rezena pe na kipa zina teni bume ke lita tasola teni samlo mambo tang teni bume zina yang teni kipa ke lipota tasola teni shapa jab samlo mambo tang teni she dena sem ga nala teni ta ndochak rangshi ke teni te ke yongore teni samlo mambo tang dena ndochak mar gak gona gak thap ko mareze.
So an example would be a man thinking a great deal about a female's body or a female thinking a great deal about a man's body. And if this were to be the case, either of them were to continually think in this way, desire would naturally arise. And in continuing to think like this, it would be very difficult to stop that arising of desire.
Teni yerdang yang te nang chikba ren do se khongcho.
And it's the same with anger as well.
Teni pe jana ngarang terang mi chik teni ngarang la teni nyipchu teni she sona teni ngarang te la samlo tang o khoranga nga kaja yak bola masong teni khoranga nga leka dik bole song teni samne te yang kir san dena teni nga su sem ga na la khongcho te yar che chin ro do.
If today, for example, someone was to say something to disparage or insult me or to do something with this effect, then if afterwards I were to think about it over and over again, then my anger would only grow stronger.
Teni ti gimsen te nga so te za ko le labores.
Of course, understanding this in principle is relatively easy.
Ina teni nga so ta lagling ka tola o ngarang ta te samlo tanyang ka mare nge sam ka man par yijok teni sam na yang lagling ka tola teni le labo mare te nga so yang kir sem nang la chayim gorez.
In practice, however, it is relatively difficult for us to cast the thought aside, even though we understand it in principle. We find ourselves continually thinking about it. So in a moment like this, we need a method, a practice.
yakbo yo mari tindi gimtsente hako rete yena tabshi yakbo mena tini nga so rang ga semla chunzen shethap ko mandubze.
Regardless of what it is, if we lack a method, then even though we might understand in theory that something is not good and that we shouldn't do it, without an actual method to put into place, then it's not possible for us to control our minds.
So
there are two methods that we can put into practice.
Parteni tadni tindi dugna samlo jambat mambo mayongwa tini korkup me patindi regres.
One of these approaches or methods is meditation, primarily calm abiding or shamatha meditation. These days in the West, mindfulness meditation is also popular too. All these are of benefit. By meditating in this way, it's possible to essentially make our thought activity relatively less, and by resting in a calm state, this has benefit for our minds.
Tene nipa de kangrezina ta nga chu tene perna shamda nyarjin rao tindi go tene ta sim ga nala samlo kangyang matang wa tindi mayim ba tene samlo tangay ore ta yena samlo jamba tang perna sham nyarji gong ya da tindi go korte tene gomna tene nga chu mu chik tene sim ga nala teni namto ni tini tishigla yongje to yo marez ni nyamde yong gmare te mayongdi ngaso pe na shamnya jenda tenru korte la samlo tangna tani khongcho che ya ga teni che teni ga samlo to so kale mar jenyong ro.
The other approach or method is meditation, meditation on objects such as love or compassion. So this is not a kind of meditation where we don't think about anything. This is where we deliberately cultivate or contemplate particular things. So it involves thought activity, but it involves thoughts of a different kind to our negative thoughts. So when we are cultivating or meditating on loving kindness and compassion, for example, because we can't be focusing on two things at the same time, as our compassion increases, our anger decreases.
That tindi indi yana tini ngaso jirni gum tini sem kana la nam tok kan me pashi tindi jindu yana tini shamdang nyarji te mai na ta gum kana la gum mambu ndu tsu gum na tini ngaso te nam tok ko sama ti tok la samlo tang de ti tini soso tini marchi pa tang soso no pa ta te so la samlo mambu ma tang wa tang wi korkup me pa tindi rin ro di Deni sem ganala yopi semnet ta dumur to yargi mandro kale ko marmar deni mendro gore.
So either of these two approaches, the first shamatha or calm abiding meditation where we are aiming for no thought activity, or meditation on loving kindness and compassion, in which case we would be focusing our thought activity on these qualities. In any case, either of these two meditation approaches essentially take away the opportunity for our thoughts of suffering to increase, and as a result they decrease or subside.
Teni ti yanshu ti nga so teranga teni di chatruk teni donsan tangbo deres. Donsan tangbo tondak tangbo ter.
So that is the first point for today.
Tangbo tondak ten dosar dana karize nduzena teni dumur teni par o ta dogne o dumur par kwerne. So
condensing it into a nutshell, essentially what we are saying is not to resist or stop suffering. So what is being said here is not that it is preferable to be without suffering. Of course, if we don't have suffering, that's fantastic. However, after suffering has arrived, after it is there, then seeking to resist it will only make the suffering grow stronger. So the second point for today is takes us a little bit higher, or takes us a little bit further than this first point. So the second point is that harm of any kind, whether it be at the level of our minds or bodies, we should not just not resist it, but we should regard it as good. We should like suffering. We should welcome it. We should appreciate that through suffering we are able. It's possible that many people won't really understand this point so well at the beginning. The reason being, have we not just been talking about working hard to remove or reduce our suffering? If this is the case, then what do we mean by embracing suffering?
So
of course, no one wants suffering, but this attitude of not wanting suffering is based on a simple thought process. The reason is because when any kind of suffering occurs, whether it be mental suffering or physical suffering, the feeling or sensation of suffering is an unpleasant one.
Teni jimsen tela teni tini ngaso dungur mena gazi tini zege ores.
And so it's for this reason that we say it's better to be without suffering.
Tini tele jambi jimsen yo mares.
But aside from this, there's no other reason.
Dungur ngaso sem go thola yona, lipo go thola yona, te chorwa te kebuz marese. Te chorwa te yabuz mare, chorwa te ngarang ga sem lam chopa tin ru tini mundu. O ti jimsen ji nga dungur go meze tini zege jimsen go so ti teres.
The main reason that we don't wish or want suffering is because the feeling of suffering is an unpleasant one. And this is the main reason, the core reason that we do not wish for suffering.
Tini chorwa tini yit mongwa tini chorwa zibo. Tin nangla korang chorwa tini zibo zre ngaso sem go thola yona chorwa yakbo zmendu libu go thola yona chorwa yakbo zmendu. Rete te ngaso go chorwa jamre. Tini chorwa ti chorwa yit mongwa tin nangla ngarang la tini jamba go panthoya tini indu mendu. Te ngaso go te sam go ya mares chigjang sam lo tang go ya mares.
So aside from the fact that the feeling, the immediate feeling of suffering is an unpleasant or a painful one, we give no thought whatsoever to whether in the midst of this suffering or in addition to this suffering, there are other benefits for us.
Teni dungur yena korang teni chorwa teni zibo teni zire, rete yena te korang chorwa zibo ti nangla, yang ngaso la panthoya ga teni yang mambo yores.
In actual fact, even though suffering is an unpleasant or painful feeling, there is much within it that is of benefit to us.
Teni perdang aso teni man kashi teni thongna teni korang jowa ha lepa ga teni kawo teni yores.
There are some kinds of medicine, for example, that have an extremely bitter taste.
Yena teni thong chari jila ngaso lipula ti panthok yores.
However, after having taken this medicine, it has a great benefit for our physical bodies.
Teni ti gimsen te ngaso hako yore, hako char ti teni ngaso man ti jowa jimbo re ta mare te ngaso ta yo mares.
So it's important that we understand that to begin with. It's after having understood the benefit that medicine can bring us, we don't pay any attention to whether it tastes bitter or not.
Teni ngaso man ti teni jowa jimbo yena ngarang ga zag yem jowa teni yakbo menang ni zag menze teni se mares.
We don't say, oh, if the taste is good, I'll take it, or but if the taste is bad, I won't. We don't say this.
Teni te kare rezina man jowa yakbo menayang ti man ti ngarang ga nalla teni panthok yore te yoti o tan jugundu te jowa yakbo mena kyo mendu ngarang nalla panthok yona tin jugundu samni teni ngaso tangling chege yores.
And the reason for this is that regardless of how the medicine tastes, it is of benefit to our illness. And so on this basis, we are able to accept it. We think it's fine to take.
Teni ten rabo pe ngaso libu go tola shak jujena teni yang te chora yakbo yo mares.
And it's the same with operations or surgery. The feeling they produce is not good.
Yena teni te nalla teni pangu yo pi jimsenji teni ngaso yang teni te yang tangling che yores.
But because they are of benefit to our illnesses or sicknesses, we accept them.
Pe ngaso nat teni chapchinja teni shongwi kapsu teni mamba ga teni chorangla teni nat chapchindu yena teni shakju shena shekindu pantondu shakju shekindu zena ti kapsu ngaso shakju la gabu she yores.
If we contracted a serious illness, for example, and the doctor told us that having an operation would be of benefit to us, then we would start to like the idea of an operation.
Ti kapsu ngaso shakju shekindu ta ngarang shakju shena changdo sare samni sim ga yores.
In that situation, we would recognize that the operation is of benefit to us and therefore like the operation.
Ti jimsen ka nga so jemu shini samlo tana teni 샤주 인나자 되니 알아서 오페나 되니 만 되니 좋아 약보 멘켄티 인나자 거랑 소라 약보 메바디 가서 낫 등물당 식바래 소라 약보 요 말해.
If we think about it clearly, if we think about it carefully, we can see that regardless of whether it's an operation or a bad tasting medicine, that bad feeling is the same as our suffering.
예나 소라 약보 마임바티 야블로라 되가서라 판토고 용행 것들이 니바딘이 요래 되가서 하고 비점선진 가서 당린 시바 맞은 가서 대다라 가부시 그 요래.
But behind the immediate feeling of suffering that they produce, or underneath it, is a power of benefit. And it's because we understand this that not only do we accept these things, but we actually come to like them.
Tini dumurla tetan sikpareze koranga tini chorwa ngachola tini ngachobo liboda semgo thola yongi chorwati yakbo mareta yenna tini chorwati yablogla tengasola pamba yongken tini nipa yang mambo dumur korangla yore.
And it's the same with other kinds of suffering, mental suffering, physical suffering. Behind the immediate sense or feeling of suffering are many beneficial aspects or qualities. However, what they are, what lies beneath or behind this suffering, we don't understand. We haven't given it thought.
Pena bugu chongchong chola nga cho tini man tini khamu tini zapchina de korang thangsik zatsari jini tini mara tu rifshe ege yoresi bugu chongchong.
So it's like little kids after they take a spoonful of bitter tasting medicine, they immediately spit it out.
Tini thang nipa tini de korang la man ti zapchina tini bugu chongchong so drunin rore sawane zag mares.
And the second, then thereafter, when the children have to take medicine, they run away in the other direction. They're completely unwilling to take it.
Di jimsen kaurezena ti korang gatini man kamo ti korang la nat yo patan nat ti pang yo ti korang ka ha ko yo mares.
And the reason for this is that the child does not understand that the bitter medicine is of benefit to their sickness.
Korang ka kanang la
The little child is only concerned about the taste that the medicine produces in their mouth. And for the reason that the taste is unpleasant, he or she declares that they will not take it. When physical and mental suffering takes place, we all behave just like little children.
Yeah.
As soon as there's some kind of unpleasant feeling, we say, "Oh, I don't like that. I don't want it."
Oh yeah.
If we would actually think about it more carefully, we would understand that even though the feeling suffering produces is not a good one, there are things that we need and benefit from within it. So when I said before that our reason for not wanting or not wishing for suffering is a really simplistic one, it's for this reason. Our way of thinking is just like that of a little child. When young children are born, when they have many mistaken views. There's a few of these mistaken views that we cannot change or reform for our entire lives. the reason that we're unable to change or reform these mistaken views is that we don't understand their underlying reasons or principles.
The kneeling down the Mishi Jimson the Garazan and also Tinji Corco Luso, the maybe Jimson Gires. Luso, Jiao.
Oh, let's say. And the reason that we don't understand the reasoning behind these mistaken views is that we haven't received the appropriate education.
Then it Tinji Corco the Luso the Yonanga so Shigres, Toma Shitabres.
Because if we did receive the relevant education, then everyone would know the reason or principle behind them.
Then it Dumur Latini, Tendi Tangasola Pamba, Tendi Yoya, Teni Shison Caps, Yabos Shison Caps, Teni Dumur Yuna, Teni Ticaps, Teningaso Semganala and Jixta, Tendi maybe Matzat, or Tangara Dumur Tendi Yona, Nara Teni Gorkup Yabures, and Teniti Caps Dumur La Gabushi Tapgres.
If we are able to understand that suffering does contain benefit, if we're able to understand this well, then when suffering does arise, not only will we not fear it, but we will look upon the suffering as a good opportunity, and on this basis we'll like it.
Then Titolanga Jungder Tetana, Dumur Yoni Caps, Dumur Tela Tene, Asos Pena Lipo, Tola Navata, Dumur Tindionaya, Sem Ganala. Or Tangaran Dumur de la Tene, or Teningaran Shava Mambo's dripped of Gundus and the same Ganala Gabu Yunguris.
So if we're able to train ourselves a little bit in advance, then when suffering does actually take place, we will be able to appreciate that through the suffering, for example, say some physical pain, there is much that we are able to achieve. And so for this reason, we will appreciate or like the suffering.
Then Semna Latini Gabu Yotsari Jimson T, then also Pena League Nada Potentina, nothing to put on those.
And because of the liking that arises in our mind, things like physical illnesses, etc., can heal relatively quickly.
Then also same Ganala Tini Dumur Tinti Mambo Tinti Dumurla Mandopa Lo Tinti Dena, then same good Dumurta Libo Dumur Nibo Yotsarti, then Perna Manchushe Gonaya Tini Rambo Tondos.
If, on the other hand, the attitude of disliking suffering we maintain for a long time in our minds, then the suffering of both our minds and our physical bodies will be such that it will take a long time for us to be treated for our illness.
Teni sem ganala teni dungur lipola dunguriona sem ganala gapu teni shev jati. Teni ti sem nipa tela tene perna teni namgini na dawa kashi la teni manchushe goa teni dawa na teni sem nipa la tene teni yangrambo zankur kashi ga tangdo ando teni jes.
So it's possible that even though we may be experiencing some kind of physical suffering, if we are able to like the suffering at the level of our minds, then on the basis of this power, an illness that might have otherwise taken several months to cure can be cured within just 1 week.
Teni ngaso namgini na ngaso kandi shegrezen perna nangbazi ta komshosum la sorandam te komshosum ngarang dingur yommenyen. Ngarang lila dingur yomanya, simla dingur yomanya, ngarang dewa chibu yongozini, nambing aso tedi sondip chegres.
Usually, as Buddhists, our approach is to pray to the 3 jewels, pray that we may not experience suffering, that we may not experience physical suffering or mental suffering, that we may have happiness. This is our accustomed way of practicing.
Teni ngaso jungder jene teni nipatet yobi kapsa dungur tanglin cheya nipatet yobi kapsa teni sondip gani chegzina teni domshok gone sondip che ta komshoksum lama komshosum ngarang la dungur thongshok ngarang la teni lig thola dungur thongshok ngarang sem go thola dungur thongshok ngarang dungur tet yo na tela teni nga yarjin ro ndu teni zeni sondip chegres.
However, once our training in accepting suffering progresses and our ability to do so increases, then the manner in which we pray becomes the reverse. We start to pray to the three jewels to send us suffering, deliver us suffering, give me suffering of the mind, give me suffering of the body, because if I have some suffering, then I have an opportunity to improve myself.
어다 딘지 인딩 아소데니 딘지 셈 톤이 딘지 당len 셰트나 데니 등물 강지 등물 침보였나 데니 람상 데니 소소라 노바 메바 딘지 착한도지.
If we have the capacity to accept it in our minds, then regardless of what kind of suffering it is, the harm associated with it disappears.
야, 데니 당아소야 다오나 등물 라데니 연든 딘지요나 등물라 연든 가리요레 데니 등물을 강아소라 판바 간린두 제나 데니 따팅 아소 시공도스.
So if we say that suffering does have positive or beneficial aspects, then we need to know what they are.
데니 디 나랑 아소 데니 등물 거데니 아소라 데니 판바 요처 데니 돈선 등그고니 데니 쉐요레지 판바 든 셴두스.
So in terms of the benefit that suffering brings us, we can divide this into 7 points. And I'll introduce each of these points one by one.
Jemena shir tam ketang dana dungar la tini payun do tang do taw top to yoto jipa zamjing mang de samjang nam kha tang lo saji war yang rang jipa tar soni gupan de kawo sitina reji dungar la tini ngimjung ko samba jangana sitini ta tangbo nga so dungar la tini ngimjung ko samba je te tini kegrez.
So first of all, it is possible through by means of suffering to cultivate an attitude of renunciation.
Teni ngimjung ko sambaziati teni petsang penanga so nangchu nyamlin shinken ko mozina te pekar chimbozres.
Renunciation for a Buddhist practitioner is extremely important.
Teni nyamlin ko teni mangzing mandawo teres.
And is in fact the foundation of Buddhist practice.
Teni ngimjung te yakboz mena teni ngaso nangchu yakboz nyamsle tabko mundugz.
Without a good foundation in renunciation, it's not possible for us to practice well.
Teni ngimjung ze te kari rezena tangbo kandi hako gonduzena ta ngaso mi teni choandi nangla teni tangbo ngaso teni dungur mambu teni ndu sambata teni nonshikta dungur ta soso rang teni choaga nangla dungur kari kari yona toso la samlo tani ta ngaso teni dinangla ngune teni dungur mambu nduk sambati shigo nduze.
So in cultivating renunciation, firstly, what we need to do is recognize that in human life there is a great deal of suffering, pressure, in whatever forms. So we need to really think about this carefully and arrive at a recognition that there is much suffering in human life.
Teni dumur teso yopate teni hako sawi jini teni ngarang dungur teso sama teni 메바시네 탁주시네 더 다가서 뭐 파르와 등거라고 딘디 마임 바더니 등거 대닥 담저 보 파르더니 탁주지고 온데서 배나가서 제가 난 치지 딘디 망보 요래데 더 담저 보 파르 탁주지고 온데 삼비 삼바 데라 더니 데 님종세 그래서.
So in coming to an understanding of this suffering, not just ordinary sufferings, but the sufferings of cyclic existence, including birth, aging, sickness, and death, in determining to end this suffering or be free from this suffering, this is what we refer to as renunciation.
Teni dumur ko teni no pa shithap ko mare mato shithap ko mar mato karti ngara nyamli yakpo mena teni dumur ndaso teni dumur mambondu ndi dumur ndaso pe samala kable hale ba teni chimbo yongore esamni teni samgo res.
And we need to further think to ourselves that it's only if I am or become a good practitioner that these forms of suffering won't harm me. If not, they will cause me a great deal of difficulty and bother.
Tani nga perda nga cho tartanda boyo na tani muli ndinji lonyo re ta te shita nga cho nangchu na la na muze ati tani ta simchen sama na ni tani chowa tani kishu de res tani dechitang damba chi dechitang damba de res chi karo zambo de res.
Currently, we all enjoy a human rebirth, and in Buddhism, a human rebirth is considered the happiest among all beings, or rather, the best opportunity.
Then yinayang taru milayang teni tan denji soso la teni yang mundo patang nawa tang teni semtola yinna dungna ma nasok teni mambores.
However, in human existences, there is still a lot of suffering and other things that we wish wouldn't happen.
So Lord Ji tola sanlo tangbayana, zambalanga sharda navta Lord Ji kanga tola yena, mir ki Lord Ji zena, parchere tenite janchik Lord Ji rao, tenjiz rendu duwas.
Janjak sana? Janjak Lord Ji sana?
Janchik ye, janjang.
Oh, janjang? Chize?
Janjang.
Lord Ji kande jire kambola.
Janjang ye, janjang sana jag, janjang sana jagi goje.
Yaru.
Tapsut.
Oh, tapsut, let's say. Okay. If we think of history, whether it be the history of the East or West, the history of humans is largely one of conflict.
Teni ta tesu korte la teni samlo tana teni mina la logi chesa ni samlo tana teni dungur ke namjang teni mambo yong kendus.
So if we think of history in broad terms, there is a great deal of suffering.
Teni yang chongchong soso mi gir kan soang na la samlo tana yang mi libo tolare teni sem ke tolare kang ke tolaye na teni dungur mambo yong kendus jipcha ke samlo tana.
And if we think in terms of individual lives, then there is also a lot of suffering, physical suffering, mental suffering.
Teni indi teni pena ngarang ngatsu pena nangchu shapandro shini kewa shima tang teni kewa shima kabina kardi nga tartan rapu lipun dendisi yenna teni ngarang teni dungar mambo yongsare teni samgares.
And in Buddhist terms, if we project ahead to our future lives, we should think that if we attain a body like our present one in our next life, then we will encounter a lot of suffering.
Teni indi teni ta ngarang korwa nani tarwa topgo ndu sambi samlo ti shik trambo yongres.
And by thinking in this way, a very strong inclination to be free from samsara will arise.
Ngatsu nang de bog teni nangchu nangla teni de bumik ta jipa kin nam ko pe halipa teni ang tambo chiyores.
In the Tibetan Buddhist tradition, was a female practitioner of unparalleled realization.
Teni tambo ko kandi teni jipa top songzena teni korang ga lila teni nat teni mze nat shongbaresi ma fongpi.
That's it. And the way that she achieved her realization was through first contracting a terrible illness, leprosy.
Teni mze nat te shongwe kapsa teni ti kapsa teni ti nat te par juya ga teni sor tarong lakshi teni yakbo yo mares.
And in those days, there wasn't any means or way for curing leprosy.
Teni mi chog samlo tana ta ngatsu mate tang nyamde dena ngatsu layang teni nate teni ngoyong sare samne teni chongba ga mar phibares.
And many people in those days used to think that living together with leprosy sufferers would make them catch it, so they expelled them from villages.
Teni chongba ga mar phadni teni shejak pi kapsa teni korang nyamlin chejak wares.
But in this case, this female practitioner, upon being expelled from her village, became a practitioner.
Teni nyamlin jini teni teni ta jima korang teni drapa thopni teni pe teni drapthop teni re songs.
And she gradually became a very accomplished yogini.
Teni te dumur la teni song bares.
And she achieved this by means of or in reliance on suffering.
Karti korang la teni nat ki dumur teni te mena teni korang shirtang ko pome chigre te mato che omares.
If she had not suffered her disease, then she just would have been an ordinary woman.
Teni dumur la teni nyamlin jini teni korang drapa thopares.
It was through her suffering and practicing through her suffering that she attained her great realization.
Teni yang mukhashi ga nala teni ga napa teni pe na enza ga napa teni dus.
And then there are other people today who have illnesses such as AIDS.
Teni enza ga na te korang la yopa teni shichawi jini tambo korang teni semga nala pe dumur mambo yong dus.
And very often when people first discover that they have AIDS, they feel a great deal of suffering in their minds.
Teni me jamba ga teni te korang la teni samlo go lotun da po shine o te kyong ga mare kyorang ga teni enza ga na yongken teni ga mo jamba chola sham nyang ji yak bo chi gum kosola roba ji da teni kyora yak bo yong gore zeni teni labares.
But there are cases when others give them advice and tell them not to worry, that even though, or now because they are AIDS sufferers, they are able to meditate on loving kindness and compassion and be of great benefit to others.
Teni jila korang teni enza ga teni nat yongken tang, teni nat yongken to sola roba mambo shini teni jampan ga lerka teni lendos.
And thereafter, it's possible for people like these to be of great benefit and work for the great benefit of other people who suffer AIDS.
Teni tindi jimsenji korang ga matse ga lagma da pe ton dang dang ba teni resong.
And because of this, the rest of their lives can become full of meaning.
Teni korang ga matse tindi ton dang dang ba teni re teni korang sem kham la yong teni mi jamba la roba yak bo she thawya te teni hakwi jini korang ga sem kham la yong teni kebo shong ne teni nat ga yang teni no pa chimbo shong yo mares.
And with their life becoming full of meaning, their minds also become very happy through knowing that their work is benefiting others. And this happiness prevents their illness from getting worse.
Teni dumur te teni ngatsola teni nopa renjo yo ta yana ngatsola pamba renjo yo te ngatso go sem la raglendos.
Whether or not suffering harms our minds or benefits our minds is determined by the mind.
Te khashila tini li thoda sem go thola dumur shong kaps teni sem na la dumur mambo sagne teni makashin ro yores.
There are some people when mental or physical suffering takes place, it really destroys them.
Teni khashila teni te li da sem go thola dumur shong kaps teni korang ga dumur tanglen yak poshi ni dumur te la tenni teni korang ga matse la teli jang yar jin ro yores.
And there are others when encountering mental or physical suffering through accepting it and by means of suffering, by means of this suffering are able to improve their lives.
Teni dumur ka teni ngatso matse yar ji tang yo ta yana ngatso matse cholak tang yo te ngatso susu sem la takando.
Whether or not suffering destroys our lives or improves our lives is completely reliant on our minds.
Teni te ngatso dumur te tangling yak bo shi shida masila takres.
And rests or hinges entirely on whether or not we are able to accept suffering.
Teni yindi ngatso nimjong ko samba zia te pe na ngatso ti nangchula teni lojong shenken maimba teni ko muzina te jikar chimbo zigi mares.
So for non-Buddhist or non-Buddhist practitioners, the attitude of renunciation, cultivating it, is not considered important.
Teni nangchula teni nyamlin chenken yinna na tari nimjong zia te pe kar chimbo res.
But for a Buddhist, then, just as we were talking about before, renunciation is extremely important.
Teni tendi nimjong te ngatso dumur soso sem ko thola lipo ko thola dumur tendi yongna 때 레라보 그때니 님종 되게 그래서
So when suffering takes place, whether it be mental or physical suffering, it is very easy for us to generate a mind of renunciation.
되니 나초 가르제나데 나초 소소 랑거 랑라 되니 골골 망보 땅거 그래서
In general, we do engage in a lot of self-deception.
되니 좀바보당 나초 좀 점근다 되니 양때 지금这个 매 망보가 양 되니 다 나초 양지 다 따스르 되니 양 딱바 마임 반다고 되니 그 되니 양 삼로 망보 되니 양 파샤게 그래서
네, 김진 옆고 마송 가볼라.
좀바보
네.
좀바보다 되니 되니 고르디양 되니 내가 솔라 되니 머세가 되니 따스르 약보 마임 바 되니 망보 샤게 그래서
And authors and many writers produced writing with 치즈드니 다서야 보면비.
따스르 약보 마임 바 제다 되니 게
Produce work with views that are not good or constructive.
되니 페르나 간디즈레제나 되니 가서 다 머신디나라 가서 되니 남긴 등을 망보 되니 찾게 요리다 옛나양 가서 남긴 되니 다 등근 찾나 디 올라 되니 마홍 발라 되니 약보 요리지 되니 딱딱 랍고 요리지
스.
그렇죠.
좀바보.
다 가서 좀바보 양 제그레스 왜나 제그레 가서 머신데 따따 득보 옛나 때 마홍 발라 머신 데치 땅담바 인 머신이랑 초아지기도 할리바가 데치 땅담바 약보 되니 인진이 몸망보 되니 랍 그래지
And what they often write or what they often tell us is that even though we might be suffering at the moment, our future lives are going to be full of happiness.
이나 가서 정무시나 되니 가서 되니 심컴 그 돈이 약보 열주야 마타나 되니 머시지야 되니 빼데치 담바 되니 말이지.
However, to tell the honest truth, if we are not able to make changes at the level of our mind, it is not possible for us to have happiness in our lives.
다리 공나 되니 아메리카 같으니 달호자치 뭐 gergen치가 로트글라 짐주시니 샤송정에 샤송아 디나라 샤반자고 그래서
What I am saying here is similar to what the professor who wrote the book based on 6 years of research about happiness had to say.
이나당 아수수소 랑거티니 셈컴 그 돈이 ger주약보 잡탐난 문에 전에 뭐지 데치 땅담바 마임바티 데치 땅담바 ger탐 그래서
However, if one is able to make changes at the level of one's mind, then it is possible to make one's life happy.
어떤지 인디다 가서 베나 낭출라 로종 생크니 나는 되니 등을라 되니 임종께 그래 되니 낭출라 되니 따바 머신킹이 나 등을라 되니 되니 소소 랑가 머치 렌탕당담바 되니 렌도 온도제
So for a Buddhist or Buddhist practitioner, it is possible to use suffering to train in renunciation. For a non-Buddhist practitioner, it is also possible to use suffering to make one's life more full of value and worth.
되니 소소랑 되니 우스 되니 등을 mam보당 찾니 리그 토라 등을 셈고 토라 등을 mam보 되니 차피 값스 되니 따조 가서 신이 되니 가서 머체제야 되니가 베나 모잠반 남고 되니 샤반라오 되니 약보 되니 데체당 담바레 만두 되나라 등을 mam본드 삼바되니 코랑 냠뇽거 신로요레스
When we really and truly encounter suffering in our life, then we can realize through our own experience that these lives of ours are not, as others describe them, full of happiness. In actual fact, there is a great deal of suffering. So actually encountering suffering oneself enables one to recognize this through experience.
등을 띵지가 되니 텔라 때니 되니 다어 단데디 등을 mam보다 담바든지 연디 당아랑 타르바토나 강드 삼니 되니 거랑 냠림시 그래
And encountering suffering like this, one determines to be free from this suffering, to be liberated from this suffering, and then goes about practice.
등아서 되니 보거나라 되니 할레바가 되니 접접 되니 치슈식데 강레즈나 집좀 몰라리 빠져야 되리티 참아하고 그랬어.
In Tibetan Buddhism, the greatest yogi is considered to be Milarepa. This is something that everyone no doubt knows.
Then Korang tinti trip to we Jimson Sherezina, then Koranga Akata Ane. The so then in Jamyum Mayim Bag, then it into Shawat in the Mambo Leni, then it Tela Tini, a Koranga Tara Dimni, then it Tara Tomsomares.
And the reason that he became such a highly realized yogi was that his family members didn't treat him well. And as a result of this, he then went to practice and eventually achieved great realization. So all of these cases arose from suffering. And through the power of suffering, and demonstrate the power of suffering.
So
in terms of medicine, because it is able to cure our illnesses, we consider it good. And in the same way, suffering, if we properly know how to go about accepting it, enables us to achieve liberation from cyclic existence. So if we are not practitioners or prior to being practitioners, that is in the case of someone who has no prior study or practice or training in accepting suffering, then when suffering arises, one feels great fear and wishes very strongly that the suffering go away. However, after we've done a bit of training in accepting suffering, then we consider it to be actually quite good if there's a bit of suffering. Of course, it's preferable that great suffering doesn't take place. The reason for this is that it's we're not able to train or prepare for great suffering. But small examples of suffering or small instances of suffering, these we are able to train with and make go away. And in the face of small sufferings, we're able to achieve victory. And on the basis of these victories, our minds become courageous. So it's really important that when small sufferings arise, that we train with them properly. Of course, if we have a life that has no suffering whatsoever, it's just pure happiness. Well, if we know how to practice well, then this is fine, this is good. We're not saying that we absolutely, of necessity, must have suffering. And it is possible for us to practice in a situation where there is no suffering around us. We're not saying that in Buddhism we absolutely must have a lot of suffering.
Oh yeah,
However, if suffering does arise, then we should take it as an opportunity for practice, in which case suffering is good.
다 때나야 다 요나 가그래 마오나 가그래지나 당아서 다 요나 안 그래 마오나 안 그래 삼바라고 던디스 고그레스.
So as to whether or not we are better with or without suffering, we should take the approach that it's fine if it takes place and it's fine if it doesn't.
다 등물 마요나 나랑 데모께 보시니 냠링치나 다 나랑 냠링치스를 요래 마요나 초코리 되는 삼고 그래서.
So we should think that it's fine if suffering doesn't arise. If it doesn't arise, we can continue with our practice.
더니 요나 끼면 등물 요나 나랑 종들시네 나랑 소소 야기 땅이 거기 약보래 대형 끼면 되지 삼고 온다서.
But at the same time, should suffering arise, good, I can use it to train, I can use it to practice, it's a good opportunity. So we should also think in this way too. Of course, again, saying this is easy. However, in terms of actually practicing it without a bit of training, then it's a bit difficult.
So
that was the first positive aspect or quality of suffering. The second positive aspect of suffering is that when it arises, we can use it to take refuge. So what do we mean then by a refuge? Well, refuge is the thought or the resolve to really practice Buddhism well. The thought, I really need and want to practice Buddhism. This thought in itself includes refuge. Often we explain refuge in many different ways, but this thought in itself encompasses refuge.
딘디가 삼로도 용 짐승 강레제나 딘이 소소 리포 토라 등을 용 샘거 토라 딘이 등을 mambo 용비 값스 딘이 가서 뭐 잠바 토라 딘디 등을 mambo 요바데 가서 시용 거래.
And the reason why this thought comes strongly to us at this point is that when we experience suffering in our minds or in our physical bodies, we perceive very readily that this is the case for others too.
남긴이 나빼나 빼잖아 가서 소소 랑라 띠니 즈보 대탕 띠니 옛나 나 지금 나지메 띠니 옛나 띠니 뭐 나빠서 등을 대간리인 하고 말해서.
Under ordinary circumstances, when we are healthy and in a state of free from sickness, our understanding of the suffering of others' sickness does not come easily.
Tani pena soso rang la tani pamjur ke tani chakin choa ke chakin pe yakbu yon shikbo tani yenna tani mi tani chobo o tani orwo o teso yang dungmer te yang tani gandri yen tani gongken te nyong res.
And at the same time, if we are in a situation of material wealth, our understanding of the nature of impoverished people's suffering is also is not easy.
Teni tedan rapo pe na soso rang la teni wangcha yongken, yang na soso rang la teni toptang yakbo yongken teni zi yenna, teni yang me toptang menken nyamchung, o koso teni dungmer gari yen.
And in exactly the same way, if for the powerful or those with very high position, it's difficult for them to gain an understanding of the life situation and sufferings of those who are meek and powerless.
Teni tapena soso rangatola teni nat rabo teni yongne teni she sona 되니 다 미창마 그때니 등물때 강자연 되니 그 살 그때니 약보 하고 용 그래.
So when an illness takes place, when we encounter an illness, it's then that we're able to gain an understanding of the suffering of others who experience illness.
되니 딘지 등물때 되니 하고 값스 되니 거랑 냠림 그 돌아더니 삭버더니 바바시 그랬어.
And in understanding this suffering, the person in question then becomes very diligent in terms of their practice.
되니 나랑 같은 냠린 딘지 제나 디 냠린 때라 되니 띠니 어디니 당에 미망보고 되니 등물때 매바치 탑근도 나랑 그 등물이야 매바치 탑근도 되니 나랑 그 냠린 제공도 추접고도 삼비디니 삼로데 되니 깨용 그래서.
And the thought or the conviction to engage in practice arises. The wish that through practice, one might go about eliminating the suffering of others as well as oneself, and an attitude of diligence towards one's practice, one's dharma practice, arises.
되니 딘디 냠린 되니 시 값스 되니 가서 냠린 시나 냠린 라테니 되니 등물때 매바시야 시 탑이야 김선다 되니 냠융 또 소용 터용 그래.
And then the 그소 그 김선다 냠융 치즈된 토용 그래서.
네 냠린 시나 되니 냠린 시나 되니 등물 상마 매바 되니 로트비 김선 거랑가 하고 용 거래 냠융 몸부터 온 거래.
And it's 굽고 그래 몽바르바.
거랑 냠융 몸부터 용 거래.
Let's say. And a practitioner who thinks like this will gain personal experience of the way that practice is able to eliminate suffering.
되니 티 값스 되니 삼로다나다 가서 남긴이나 되니 가서 베르난 직딩거 베르나 되니 저 왕차다 되니 망작다 되니 톱탕 되니 빰줄 너서 베 가르침보 연삼에 가서 할레바 되니 대소 돈닥 침보 찌니 디수 상마 디토라탄 거요 그래서 남긴이나
Under ordinary circumstances, we place great importance and invest all of our time in achieving things like worldly power, fame, wealth, position.
딘디 인디디니 가서 멋지게 나라요 비 등을 망보즈 땡가서 빰줄 그 고르모 짜와니 지지 판도요 그요 말이지.
But in terms of the suffering in life, our wealth, etc., has no benefit. Power has no benefit either. And having fame is of no benefit either.
판토 요근득 마토 바젠 찌찌 판토 만도 삼바 페스 고 할레 바탕 잡고 차고 그래서 냠뇽 거 토니.
And it's possible for a practitioner to realize that the only thing that is of benefit to eliminating one's suffering is one's own practice, improving one's own mind. And it's possible through encountering suffering and practicing through it to gain a very clear appreciation of this.
딘디 인디디니 가서라 등물 라짝네 다 등물 가라 요머냐 등물 요머냐 삼네 가서 바로 주고 요래다 이나 값값스 등물 데스 토라 용나 되니 소소고 냠용다 되니 소소고 용들다 또소 토라 판톡 망보 요래지.
So even though generally we have great fear for suffering and we wish for it to stay away and so forth, in actual fact, having a little bit of suffering, gaining some experience of it, is a good opportunity for training.
Tani tanga tini na song ta shabju she gore ta kamu mambo gore samni tindi tini sam jagna tani sem ko tola lipu ko to na teli kyang saban ro tindi ko sem tola kable ta dungwar ta non shi mambo yong ko dus.
It's the same as if we were to have an illness and to need an operation. If we were to think, oh, I'm sick, I'm in a really bad situation, it's really not good. If we were to think like this in such a situation, then our physical ailment would only get worse.
Tini ti kapsa tini ngaso la tini samlo tansar jambaz yona te pe pantok chimbore samlo tansar jambaz go ndu ze ngaso namgini na samlo tansar o nga dungar menaga tini samgo yore samlo tansar jambaz go ndu ze.
At a moment like this, we really need an alternative way of thinking to our ordinary approach of not wishing for suffering to take place.
Tindi indi tini samlo tansar jambati tone tini samlo tang jana o ta dungar yona kyu mindu ngarang tela tini jondr shi chokore samni tindi samgo reta yena tini pe khemsar chik tangre zena tini tindi ngaso samlo tansar tila jirchu jab jagna tini dungar ti main ro ndu ze te ngaso semtok dungar ti lamsang main ro ndu.
So this different way of thinking would be one of appreciating that suffering is an opportunity to train and improve oneself. And the very strange thing is that simply by changing our way of thinking, it's possible for us to entirely make our mental suffering disappear.
Teni pe khemsar chi karezena tinga so o ta dumurti yona yakboyo mar dumurti yona ta nga halipaka moyore tindi samna gandhi samna dumur chi ro nduze.
And the other strange phenomenon is that if we habituate ourselves to thinking that, oh no, this suffering is terrible, it's difficult, it's awful, then the suffering will just get bigger.
Teni samlo tansar jamba shini o dumur yona kyung mare ta dumur la teni ngarang ga teni khepani ang mambo thop gore ngarang la phanto ang mambo yong gore tindi samni teni samlo tang jana te lamsang teni dumur semtok dumur sama mepa chagne karti teni tsawani mepa mare na chong ma to mepa rong doze.
However, by changing our way of thinking to a different kind, that is recognizing or thinking that it's okay that suffering is happening, it's of benefit to me, then immediately the suffering will disappear. Or even if it doesn't disappear completely, it will be diminished to a very insignificant degree.
So
on occasion, when suffering arises, it's able to give us a great education. And sometimes the education it's able to give us is even greater than that which our teachers and lamas are able to do.
Penangaso girgin na da lama na teni namjin songo yore o teni dungur yongore teni kan teni gore teni nyangamare teni sone mambo songo yore rete yena ngaso soso la teni nyamnyung teni mayona dungur thoti nyamnyung teni mayona ta ngaso o teni songo ndu samban raw ma to te par panyum raw rendo yore
chek deni tsikjumadik
tanyum
oh la say
tanyum raw rendo ores
tanyum
다 당심세나 파르다가 바로 이기적이죠.
So even though our teachers and our lamas might tell us that suffering happens, suffering will come, and they might tell us what to do and how to approach it, if we've had no experience of suffering ourselves, then all the things that they say we tend to cast aside.
Then 소소 토라 등거도 용 차디 냠뇽 것도네 오니 틴디 젠도 다 나랑 테즈 잡잡치 고사레 나랑 테즈 티니 바바시 고사레 삼반라오다 나랑 소소 티니 야르지 땅와 돈드 테즈 레카 레고사레 삼반라오 티니 심타니 용고요레스 심고 땅니.
However, when one actually has personal experience of suffering, then one can realize, well, this is really how it is. And from this experience one generates from the bottom of one's heart a recognition of the need to be careful, to be diligent, and to work hard to make progress.
tene ngaso gabushi tene ze gona teze kaborezi rete dumur chongchong teze chongchong ko kortela tene tsama kyun de mastas kyun de mastada ti panthong mambo yongdo ze ngaso la gorkub mambo chakendo ze dumur chongchong te ngaso jondr jena shi thamkore ti jimsanji.
So everyone here today, we're not saying that if great suffering arises that you should like it. However, in terms of small suffering, we should not look upon these as a problem. We should appreciate that they are able to bring us benefit and many opportunities from the point of view that they are a chance to practice.
Tini ngaso shusuk pena ngaso tarta shusuk te tini partana teni ganga shogla yana teni chi yarjin rawota chi ganga shogla yana yarab rawota teni royores shitsokndo.
If we look at society, then we might say that in every respect it seems to be progressing.
Teni dong tola teni nyongzang jeshi res.
Nyongzang zina?
Fuza.
But in actual fact, it's only becoming more and more complicated.
Teni ninji nyongzang ka teni khori ka nala teni ngasang la no pa shia chama me pa chini teni ngarang kepo dewe samna te chawane yong chik mandukse.
And in such a complicated environment as this, it's not possible for us to say, oh, I'll get rid of it all entirely and then I'll be able to exist happily. This will never happen.
Teni ngasu nyongzang ka nane teni nyamlin shia nyongzang ka nane teni nyongzang la teni dewa deshkip tangdamba yongya tindiu tabshis samlo tango doze.
So what we need then is a way of practicing in the midst of complexity and a way of deriving happiness from this complexity.
Perna ngaso teni mi mambo yandro teni langkhor mambo yandro teni dra mambo teni yosa tindi yenna teni dra mambo yosa teni nyamling che gona teni ti dra so teni nyamlin la pe no ko yore sim tambo ya bone tab ko mareze.
Generally, if we are in a place where there's lots of people, a lot of cars, a lot of loud noises, then we aren't able to practice well. The loud sounds impact detrimentally on our practice.
Teni ti kaps teni khori ti nala ta ngarang japar mepa shini teni nge gomjab kenzena te yong tham ko mandus.
In an environment such as this, it would not be possible to say, I'm going to stop all the sounds, get rid of them completely so that I can practice. This would, again, never happen.
In
an environment or at a moment like this, what we need is a practice method that relies or makes use of the sounds. Oh, so it's possible that you might be able to make use of this sound in order to practice.
The
sound itself has to meditate. So in exactly the same way, in a really complicated environment, we need to rely on this complexity or complicatedness to achieve happiness. It's not possible for us to say in such an environment that I will get rid of all this complexity and then I'll be happy. It just won't happen.
Teni sarji chomden dega teni tela gongni teni maung ba mon namla teni docha jerdang temu teni nyomung ba pe mangbo yongore teni indi nyomung ba la teni gomja ya dang nyamlin sia teni gondu gongni teni thakba chimbo ta sanga so teni songbares.
And it was during the time of the Buddha Shakyamuni that, or the Shakyamuni Buddha himself taught that, or projected that in the future, afflictions would only increase, and that there would be a need for a practice method that relied on or made use of afflictions. And he, for this reason, gave the teachings of the Mahayana and Vajrayana vehicles.
Teni ngaso ta matsin de no pa chikyang me pa no pa chama mar me pa shini ngarang la no pa chama me pa shini chami tangni tani ngarang kepo degen zinate yung masi baren dozing.
The idea that we might completely get rid of all harm, eliminate it entirely, and then be happy is entirely impossible.
Teni ta kandi go zina no pa te khorang teni dewa ngo par girya. No patela tini soso dichi yongya teni tab chila samlo tango yoreze.
So rather what we need is a method to transform that suffering or harm into the essence of happiness.
Teni te ngaso teni dumur te korang mantaware samni samlo tanga te teres.
So this is what we mean by looking upon or thinking of suffering as a kind of medicine.
Teni te ngaso ndi nangla shepi teni ndi yondan nipa teres.
So that is the second positive aspect or quality of suffering.
Teni samba teres, samba te ngaso ngargir mepa chiya teres, ngargir mar mepa chiya.
And the third benefit of suffering is eliminating our pride.
Teni ngarang so perna musik la teni samlo tangba yena, teni perna ngarang la ngubu mangboyo, gormo mangboyo. Yangana teni ngarang la tezi top tombon rawo yo. Yangana ngarang teni nyanjak chembon rawo yo. Teni yembi kapsi, teni mutso la teni semgana la ngargir yongni teni ta ngarang pe, teni lapchin re teni ta ngarang rapo chikyang omari samba rawo, teni ku samlo yongres.
So a person with a great many possessions or a lot of money, great deal of fame or position often gives rise to pride and arrogance, thinking themselves to be very mighty and that there is no one else like themselves.
Teni ngargir yong chawi jini, teni ngaso teni ngargir yo chate teni ngaso yondan la lojong chego mares.
And once pride has arisen, we don't study virtue.
Pena ngarang gandi porwan dinang la tini chikang lugni kang re charndu samni tini samna tini nge samna ota kang re char song ta lug sam mandu lug go mandu samni tini sam gres.
It's the same as this cup. If I fill it with water until it's almost full, I think to myself, oh, the cup is full. There's no need for me to pour any more into it.
Tini ngargir kine ta ngarang pe lapchin re tini ngarang yagbori tini samsona tini ta nga rendu ta nga changma riksong ta nga chi go mundu samni tini lojong chego mare nyamlin yang chego mare tini mi jan la khasu chegre tini rendo res.
And it's the same with pride. When we think that I'm so great, I'm so good, then one does not feel the need to do anything else, to cultivate anything else. No need for study, no need for practice, and yeah. And one is unable to perceive one's own shortcomings and faults.
Ngargirte mena ngarang kyundi ha ko tab kore kyundi ha ko sona perna da ngarang dina la tarung ngarang la mandang la tezindu tarung dina la chete zu lugo ndu ngarang kha kang munduk samba yona tini ngandina la chik lugre tini ar kang ro re tin rapo soso rang tini kyundi tini rigni ta ngarang tarung yakbore munduk tarung ngarang lojong ko la yena gang ko la yena nga tarung mandang wa tini mambo zinduk samba ro tini yona tini ngarang ka teni mbapashini teni yondan sama yarjin ro thab grezi teni sosorang tarong dang mundu samban rawo na.
Without pride, however, we are able to see our faults, see our shortcomings. It's like this glass of water. If it is not full, and we can appreciate that there is still some space to fill it with water, and we will pour water into it until it is full. So being able to see one's faults or perceive one's faults, one is then willing to do what is needed, whether it be study or something else, to improve oneself. So perceiving one's inadequacies has the benefit of leading one to be diligent in terms of improving them.
Then tindi ngarjer te yo pikapse then nga so rang te kanti rang ngoma te kanti yin tsawane ha ko yo mares.
When one gives rise to pride, we are unable to see how we really are.
Then nga so dummer tam chadne dummer tini so rang ka thola tini dummer yung tindi shepi kapse tini ta zo ngone tane ngarang rang mo kanti zin ta tini rang ngoma te kanti zin tani ha ko yung gres.
But when we encounter suffering, then it is possible for us to really see what kind of persons we are.
Pevjangna nga so tani lognin chamkanda tani yona kar dugar chamkin tani zina tani korang ka gyarbo tani chal she chunzung ka tani gomba kon tani shena o tani ta lognin chap ko yori ta lognin chap sarvi jini gomba te so mar phat sarvi jini tani korang chichig mare se korang gyaro yang mare chunzung yang mare mohon yang mare hwao yang mare chichig mare.
So it's the same as a film actor. When they are acting, when they're on set, they're wearing the costume and the clothes of a king or a president or whatever the role may be. However, when the scene is finished, when they cease to be acting, they remove their clothes. And in doing this, they are no one. They're not a king, they're not a hero, they're not a soldier or anything like this.
Teni dummer tangtanim chadne te tedishe yongdi teni sosorang go yangkir ndang japti teni ta ngarang pena gyarun cham dugur cham bin nekubna teni gombat indi komban raw rendu ma to ba ngarang rang tong ko thola nguni dummer do sodam cha yong kaps ngarang jiang tabshi mendu ngarang teni shulogni yar teni ji ta ji gurmo te ji yo andra pamjur te ji yo andra ta teni wangcha te ji yo tsu yar Janchapti Badaw Rendu Matongara Nangla Jiju Mundu Sambandawatini Tazo Hagores.
But when we encounter suffering, it's possible for us to think again about who we really are. We can recognize, we can realize that beforehand we were just like people wearing costumes, adorning themselves with ornaments of various kinds. In actual fact, we have nothing at all. Perhaps externally we have money and a bit of power, but these are like ornaments. In actual fact, we have nothing inside. So this it is possible to realize or discover through encountering suffering.
Teni tindi hakobi kapse teni ta ngarang yarji tarong sosorang yarji tango ndu nyamlinche go ndu samni teni nyamlinche ni teni kale yondang yakbo yong kan reyong gore.
And in realizing this, it's then possible to begin to improve oneself, to begin to practice, and through practicing to gradually improve one's qualities.
Teni dummer te shona teni chorwa ha lepa teni ta nyamnyong zenanda chorwa zenanda tang zabu yongores.
In times like this, the experience of suffering can be extremely profound. And it will happen for anyone, it will happen for everyone. The difference between when we are encountering suffering and when we are not encountering suffering is immense. In fact, you could say it's just like we were two different people. But all of these things are what we discover or can discover through encountering suffering.
Teni dingmur ke teni ngasola mashi pa mangboz teni ngasola shisen jikyo re ngaso shibr shekyo re.
And so suffering has the capacity to make us understand or know much that we don't understand and know.
Teni yendi dingmur korang tsorwa teni yakbo marita yenda korang ka ngasola teni nilig mangbo hako roshit. O teni soso yargi teni to tangjita teni ko korka mangboz trakanduze.
So even though the feeling of suffering is not not a pleasant one, suffering has the capacity to make us understand a great deal and also gives us many opportunities for improving ourselves.
Teni te ngaso dingmur ke teni yondan sambaderi teni teranga chatang ngaso titonin jokoyen.
So that concludes the third positive aspect of suffering, and we are going to conclude our afternoon's teaching here.
If by this virtue may I achieve omniscience by defeating all enemies and teach, may all who fire on the ways of birth, all take sickness and death, also the shield of samsara.